Good evening, Gills fans. Welcome back to another episode of Gills in the Blood TV as I take a look back at Saturday and the car crash that was the 3-0 home defeat to Blackpool. Steve Lovell was absolutely raging, and rightly so, after the game. Back page of today's Medway Messenger, "Show your bottle" is the headline. First time that Steve Lovell's really gone to town on his players, and this picture coming up on your screen, Gills fans, is a quote from him. As you can see from the graphic, if people haven't got the courage to stand up to things like this, then perhaps they are not good enough for us. That's the words of our boss. Clearly frustrated, angry, whatever you want to label it at, the non-performance that we put in on Saturday, where just far too many were not at it. A little bit more. If they can't handle it at this level, then they are not going to handle it anywhere else. They have to stand up and be counted. The Gills look to have put relegation fears behind them after climbing as high as 10th in January, with an outside chance of gate crashing the playoff race. Lovell had taken over the team, sitting second from bottom, but since then the Gills have won just twice in their last 15 games, a run of form that's seen them return back into the lower reaches of the table. We were shocking, absolutely shocking. You can understand why Steve Lovell has just started questioning the bottle, because we've stopped. The wheels have not just fallen off, they've rolled down the hill, disappeared into the sea and sunk without trace, unfortunately. That was as bad a performance as I can remember on Saturday. We just made it far too easy for Blackpool from first whistle to last, and unfortunately it was very Adi Pennock in the way we just rolled over. This on the beach that keeps getting levelled at them is obviously just going to grow louder and louder, because we were horrendous, absolutely horrendous. I'm generally, you know, people who watch this channel, glass half full and pretty optimistic, but you can't dress that up and sugarcoat it anything other than an absolute horror show. There was probably 2 or 3 players that come out of the 90 minutes with any credit. There's a little bit more from Steve inside. First time I've been let down is the headline inside. A lot of them will have come off the pitch thinking I should have done better and I could have run further, run quicker, won that header, won that tackle, got on the end of that cross, could have put that cross in, but they simply didn't. And then there were people out there who threw in the towel. That tells me a lot about characters. It has to be addressed. Interesting quotes with so many players out of contract at the end of term with only 2 games to go. So you just wonder now, because he has said previously, Steve Lovell, that he'd made his mind up on the majority, but this horrendous run of form makes you think whether he's going to change his mind on a few. So maybe there'll be a couple of surprises when the retained and released list gets published any time after the end of the season. Next up is Luke's match report. Luke Cordell, who writes for Kent Online, and I'll do the last couple of paragraphs. Gillingham's fate is still in their hands, at least, thanks to that mid-season revival. But where has the energy, confidence and swagger gone? Attendances are down this season, and a poor end to this campaign is going to do nothing to encourage people to get behind the Gills when it all starts again in August. 2 games left, 2 games to get the fans back on side and finally put the lingering threat of relegation to bed. Now, you people know me. I said after Portsmouth we were 100% safe. I'm going to have to stick to that and say we will not go down. But it's got a lot closer than I was happy with, to be fair. And I just hope that it doesn't go to the last day like last season, because that was horrendous and I don't want to have to go through that again. And I'm sure no Gills fan wants to go through that again. Yeah, just really, really bad. It was flat, lethargic, lazy, too many passing the buck, too many second to everything, not winning their tackles, not competing for second balls, not competing for headers, just very, very, yeah, lazy, as I said. That's what it was, unfortunately. Where are we going to score our next goal, let alone get our next point, unfortunately, because we do our match day lives. I've not reported on a goal at the Priestfield since 29th of March, when we lost 2-1 at home to MK Dons. I think Walsall was a couple of games before that, we drew 0-0 as well, so it's been, after that very fruitful January, it's been slim pickings for about 6 weeks now, really slim pickings. Right, next is a little bit about Lee Martin, because obviously he returned from a 4-game suspension and went straight back into the side and then come off mysteriously at half time, and Steve Lovell's come out and said that he had a chest infection. Now for me, and I'm not one to have a go at Steve Lovell because I think he's done a brilliant job regardless of the last 6 weeks, but Steve, why are you playing him if he's not fit? You've said here he has a go and he is a great character. We need him around. He struggled because of that chest infection, but he will be back. I'm sure Billy Bingham's a great character. I'm sure Aaron Morris is a great character. I'm sure Bradley Garmston's a great character, but you wasn't going to play any of them when they're not fit. So illness, injury, why are you playing people that you know pretty much aren't going to get through 90 minutes? You're effectively then just wasting a substitute. For me, he was bang average like pretty much all of them, and that's probably generous in what I'm saying. Bang average is probably a polite way of putting it for most of the side. But yeah, for me, don't play him if he's not fit, and it's up to Lee Martin as well. It's great saying he's got great character, but if he knows he's not going to make it through 90 minutes, then surely it's him as a good pro as well should come out and say, look, Gaffer, I'm not fit, don't play me today and I'll sit it out. Because we've effectively, like I say, we've just wasted a place on the starting 11 or on the bench, which is annoying. Yeah, very strange, very frustrating. But to try and then just looking at the match ratings, I thought I was harsh, but mine were all sort of 5s, 5.5s with the odd 6 chucked in. Luke Cordell went Tom Hadler 6, Luke O'Neill 4, Max Amar and Ben Nugent 6, Conor Ogilvie 4, Mark Byrne 5, Hesse, Martin, Riley 4, Eves Parker 4, substitutes Wagstaff 5, List 5, Nash 5. So damning in the extreme. We were very, very below par. But to try and finish this vlog on a bit of a positive, I am going to talk about this man coming up on your screen now, who made his league debut for us at the weekend. That is our young goalkeeper Tom Hadler, who has bided his time now for a few seasons, has been effectively the number 3 for a while, number 4 at times, been out on loan, learnt the ropes, applied his trade at a lower level and done well. I think his latest loan was Gloucester City, National League South, and all the reports that came back from there were he's really, really impressive. So, number 1, really pleased for Tom Hadler to have made his debut. Very difficult circumstances. Myself and Stocky discussed his part in the first goal on the Matchday Live on Saturday, and I said I thought he was at fault because the ball he looked like he'd palmed it back out into a dangerous area. But since then I've watched the highlights, and to be fair to Tom, it looks like the free kick takes an horrendous bobble and zips up off at him from close range and takes an unnatural bounce. And then from there, he's done his job. He's got himself behind it and managed to keep it out. And for me, we don't react as a defence. We all just look at each other. Carl Vassell's alert, nips in, puts it in the back of the net, 1-0 down. Second goal, he's got no chance with. Again, we're too slow to react. We let Carl Vassell get to the byline far too easily, spins Max Amar far too easily, gets his ball across, and unfortunately Conor Ogilvie's half asleep and allows Nathan Delfinezo to get in front of him and prod it in from about 2 yards. But I thought he was decent enough, Tom Hadler. There's plenty there to work with. He's at a really young age, so he's got loads of time to improve and gain more experience. But I thought his distribution was really good. He was good with his feet, he was good with his left foot, his right foot. He knew when to go short, knew when to go long. And he was generally quite pinpoint with his long ball distribution, which was great to see. Kicking out of his hands was very good. Didn't let the first goal affect him, I didn't think. He may have got a hand to the early Carl Vassell header that went onto the crossbar as well. I said at the time I thought he got hands on the penalty, but he hadn't hit the post, but he went the right way. So all in all, looked confident, brave with it, happy to go short, happy to go long, pick and chose his moments really well. Yeah, thought he was very tidy in all that he did, and for me I felt a little bit sorry for him because he got put in at the deep end in a side that's struggling for confidence and results, and was let down probably more by the 10 in front of him than he was by his own display. But all in all, it was great to see him get his chance, because I was one that strongly campaigned for him to start earlier in the season when I was unhappy with Thomas Holy and Stuart Nelson at the time. I thought they were poor in pre-season. He's had to wait a little longer than that. But let's see now, up to Steve Lovell, whether he keeps his place for Saturday at Bristol Rovers and then Plymouth on the final day. Be interesting if it does get very nervy and does go to a final day decider in terms of relegation. Fingers crossed that it doesn't, because obviously we don't have the experience of Stuart Nelson to fall back on this year like we did last season. But all in all, I thought he was all right, Tom Hadler. Good solid debut on his league bow, and fingers crossed that he gets lots more chances. Right, that is enough from me. Not the longest, not the most positive, unfortunately, this week. As always, thanks for watching and doing all the usual. Be back Thursday for a match preview as we look ahead to Bristol Rovers, and I believe Dave is doing the Matchday Live this weekend. And until next time, up the gills.